Hey guys, Flabaliki here today and welcome back to Cities Skylines. So this episode is going to be mostly a time-lapse. We're going to have about, I guess, a few minutes at the end as well, just going through, looking at stuff a little bit closer. But for the first 20 minutes, this is all time-lapse based content. So if you do want to skip it, go to 20 minutes and you can see the real time. If not, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So as we're basically finally doing the downtown layout and figuring out how it's all going to work, as you may have seen from the thumbnail and probably the title. So this took me, like, I was kind of just like, I finally decided, you know what, I'm just going to approach this. I'm going to start doing stuff and see what happens. Because essentially, looking at these major roads that we have about, I think, 4 actual main entrance points to the downtown area, which is really good. So it means it's really well connected. And then we have that other bridge that just goes over to the island in the middle. Because we have the 2 bridges. One of them is going to be a highway connection. The other one just sort of bridges over. So it's not going to ever have too much of a heavy traffic flow. So it should be okay. But the first major connection we're doing here, as you can see, I decided to split the road. I'm designing it in a way with these pedestrian pathways that it's kind of been like, if you imagine the road used to go straight ahead and then they split it, I don't know, however many years ago. So they still have the remnants of the road there, which is now a pathway. It's now pedestrian access. And anyway, that's the idea of it. Like the road used to be there. Now it's just a little pedestrian pathway. I put some hedges in there too, just to make it a little bit more beautiful. And just putting a few little trees in it as well, I think. I don't remember what I put there. I think it does change a little later on as we start getting some buildings in. But yeah, just some beautiful trees down there. Yeah, so you can see how it's sort of designed that way. And I did go ahead and download Rico finally. I've been meaning to get it for a while, like a long while. It's basically the mod that allows us to place any residential, commercial, or industrial building wherever we want, whenever we want. And so I did that, and I downloaded a bunch of custom buildings as well, just to sort of chuck them around the place, getting a lot of offices, and some of them are huge. Like I got a lot of huge buildings, but I don't put a lot of them down yet because this is the start of the downtown area, but it's not like the main central downtown section, if that makes sense. Like it's not the largest buildings of the city. It's just the start of the downtown area. And figuring out where the central train station is going to go as well, which I think, very shortly. And I think it looks really, really cool. So I decided to get a couple of buildings just in this area because I wanted to see how the traffic's going to flow. Also just adjusting the speed limit so it's a little bit more appropriate, all up to 70 kilometers an hour, so they can all go a little bit faster. And seeing how that goes. I was just checking the flow, seeing what was happening. It seemed okay. I mean, to be honest, we have only a few buildings there at the moment, so it doesn't make much difference. Also, making sure to get a lot of pathways throughout this city, and you'll see I do a few more of them through the place because we need to allow pedestrians to walk all around. Also, it's amazing there's so many people walking down that major road from the train station because the train station is further up the road. They get off there and then sort of walk all the way down. So this is where I'm trying to figure out where to put it, and I decided to put it here, just off of that major road and just near the water because it is a terminus station. There's no tracks running through it, so I thought we can put it right up against the water, right up against this cliff face, and it'll actually look pretty nice. And then what we're going to do is have the railway going underneath the city. Like all these rails are just going to be tunnels going underneath, and that's what we're doing there. So this one just connects up to that line pretty easily, and I think it looks really, really neat. So a lot of people are also like suggesting it's like, oh man, just use subways, just use metros, just do all that kind of stuff. But the reason I like using trains is, one, they look cooler because you can see them all. And then I know the response to that is, oh, use the Metro Overhaul mod. My response to that is, I don't know how to use it. I don't particularly want to learn how to use it because I don't really need to. I don't know. I mean, what benefit does that have over using trains? Is, I guess, my point. In a way, I don't know. In any case, I don't really want to have to learn how to use that mod because it always confused me. I've looked it up before, and then there's like all these things saying, "Oh, it's not really updated. It doesn't really work." But you have to get this. I don't know. You know what? Basically, it's too complicated for me to... Well, it might not be complicated, but it looks confusing. So anyway, using trains because we can see them. We can go underground. We go above ground. It doesn't seem to be any issue. And I much prefer viewing the trains going about. If everything's underground, you don't really see it. I love seeing people move through the city. It just gives it way more life. And I think I just really like seeing that. And also, another reason I like doing the trains is because I've mentioned it before, but obviously a lot of the city building I do is based off of my own city that I've grown up in and I live in, which is Sydney. So a lot of the stuff I do is kind of based off of Sydney and where I live. So we don't have a subway network. We have trains. It's basically an above ground train network all across the city. And anyone that lives here will know it's not the best. So, yeah, that's really good. Basing my train network in my game off a system that's already not the best in real life. But anyway, so I'm taking inspiration from that. And you saw I was just doing a few more pathways there. So we have this road going underneath because I wanted to have access on the other side of the train station as well, of course. So I'm just trying to design this little network section right now, getting the roads coming off the main one. And it's so much fun, guys. When this is all sort of comes together, it starts looking really cool. Now, I also thought I will want a rail to pass by the station. I don't want them all ending here. So I did actually just add that little bypass track in there as well. And then I'm deciding just getting these 3 other tracks heading out as well. All 3 of these tracks actually just tunnel underground, but they're heading a different direction. So obviously there's one going under that building over there, which I think looks it just looks pretty cool. So one going under that building, then we have 3 heading off more to the right-hand side. They're sort of all bunching together because we are in the downtown section. I feel like they should probably be a little bit more compact to take up much less space, as it's prime real estate. And also this whole downtown area isn't huge. Like, we don't have a huge amount of real estate. So I could imagine them trying to squish in as many as they could in a much smaller space rather than, taking up all of the world. So having those 3 rails heading out that way, I'm not exactly sure where they're going to go yet. But I mean, we'll figure that out later. They're all just going to tunnel underneath, and then we'll sort of figure out where they go a little bit later on. But they're just there ready to be connected when we figure out how we're going to do it. So those are there. We also don't have a cargo hub anywhere planned in the city yet. However many episodes ago when I was messing around with it, we did actually have this sort of cargo station and a cargo harbor. I do want to have a cargo harbor somewhere. I might do it I think I'll do it on the other side. So where we bridge over. I'll talk about it a bit more when we head over that side, because I do a little bit over the other side. But this is really cool. So we got these keys, we got all these tunnels, and it actually means that I'm able to get almost a level pedestrian bridge heading over all of this, which I thought was really, really cool. And it just looks really neat too. And this is actually a really helpful connection. And I thought rather than taking up more space, I'd actually just put the pedestrian path over the key so that it sort of, there's double use for that space. As it goes over the key, it doesn't take up any more space than it needs to. But now it connects all of that area there, so pedestrians can walk across much quicker than having to go all the way around, which I thought was really cool. And a lot of pedestrians do actually end up using that. So now behind the railway station, we have this one-way lane, which is super cool. So it goes along there, comes down the bottom. So this is we have this sort of lowered waterfront, which is obviously just on the other side of this cliff, and then we have the railway going over the top with these 2 brick archways, which I think look really, really cool. But I do actually change that because it ended up not working appropriately. So these are residential buildings. I do want to see if I can find some I just want to get I believe there's got to be a way to get all the sort of regular game buildings as Rico buildings, because I just wanted to put some smaller sort of commercial buildings in there, but I only had with Rico the sort of the tiny residential apartment buildings, so I started to just shove them in there. The reason I don't particularly want them there, and the reason I don't want them there is because the train station is super loud, so all the citizens get really, really sick living right there, which is kind of annoying. And also, the other reason I'm not just doing regular zoning in that area is because it is so hilly and it's such a steep cliff. Regular buildings aren't going to build there, and they're not going to build the way that I want them to. So I've just placed it myself, but that doesn't mean it's those aren't really the right buildings. I'll see if I can find some more stuff, but that's just what I had for now. Anyway, so now this rail that we're sort of lining up and sort of positioning in is actually the one that's going to connect the current passenger line that's sort of snaking through the other suburban area that we've been working on the past few episodes. So that railway will connect to this one and sort of terminate in the city there. And you can see it also branches off to the one that bypasses. So we'll have to figure out how we want to use that, because the bypassing rail currently doesn't have a way to connect to this sort of the sort of central station right there, and I don't think it really makes sense to be able to do that either, because it'd have to be a really sharp turn. So there's no plans to connect it out that direction, but we'll have to see what we can do. Now I'm just putting in a large road heading around, I guess almost the outskirts of the urban center, because it's, I guess in a way, acting as almost a ring road to avoid the city center. So you go up around this way if you want to get there a little bit quicker. And then I've just played around with this intersection here to hopefully later on, because right now it's not so bad, but later on when we have more traffic flowing through this area, hopefully it should be okay. I'm hoping that all works well, but I mean, for now it seems fine and there's no issue, but it's going to be one of those things that we might have to revisit a little bit later on to see how it all works. Also, the traffic was just not going like the traffic lights weren't working properly. But anyway, I cut that out. I spent a lot of time messing around with it to work it out. So just fitting in a bunch of buildings in this space. I really wanted some buildings right next to the train line here because there's a lot of space there, so I just wanted to get some like nice buildings in there. It seems like a waste to not have anything. So I've got a couple of these apartment blocks just next to each other. Again, people are probably going to get sick in those. But at the moment, we don't have any services in this area, but that's fine. And a little Ibis Hotel. I thought that was cool. So you can sort of, if you're coming into Sedona, new Sedona City, and you just come to the train station, you can stay at that sort of train station hotel and hang out there. Now, this little area on the other side of the train station, I was trying to make almost a little commercial hub. At the moment, I'm just going through buildings to see what fits, because I don't have a huge selection. So I was seeing what can fit and all that. And I also didn't want to do buildings too tall, because this area, like I said, is not the main section of the downtown. It should have some tall buildings, but nothing huge. So I've been careful not to do anything too big to like eclipse what we're going to do a little bit later on. Also, this building fit perfectly in there, which is really, really good. I was trying to find like maybe some sort of shopping center type thing. I do have a few shopping centers, but I don't really like the look of them. Also, they're all like Japanese themes, so it was like Japanese all over them, which didn't really seem fitting, which is for what is essentially an American city or an American map is what we're kind of doing. With left-hand drive, because that makes sense. I mean, that's kind of the theme we're going for. Also, so I think I put in that building, I think I get rid of it because I'm like, it's just too tall. Like, it doesn't really work in that position. You can see it's just a lot of decision making here to see what fits in and what doesn't. And you can see I cut out a lot of that. And then I was like, you know what? This is the perfect place to fit in a ferry stop. So I actually got the large ferry terminal because I figured this is the downtown area, so we should have a large one. It's right next to Central Station as well, with a nice pedestrian connection. And it fits in really, really snugly right there. And I think it looks great. And the ferries do work there. I think later on I did move it a little bit, and the ferry's actually now on the way in the kind of crash. Still works, but I have to adjust it a little bit. Now it's we've actually, because we lowered that space, I had to move that pathway a little further down because it's a little steeper now. So I had to move it so that they didn't roll down the pathway as opposed to walk down it. Again, just a matter of, I think I need to find a better building or a better set of buildings to go in this area, because those residential ones, while they do fit, and I think they look all right, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense because, like I said, they're just getting super sick there constantly. And granted, there's no hospital in the area yet, but I do put it in just a moment's time. Well, not a moment's time. I do put it in this video. So anyway, just connecting up a ferry line. But apparently you guys said I don't actually need to do ferry lines if it's got the shipping lanes there. But I did it anyway because I want the ferries to run separately from the cargo ships. So just kind of in a different lane, which I thought would be all right. These stupid power lines. I don't have the underwater power lines, and I think I need to get them because the ones I put underwater just keep getting destroyed. So I think I need to change that. Anyway, back to this little area. This is also a difficult area to build in with the current set of buildings I have because not a lot of them fit. But I thought this one fit actually really well in that little corner, so I just moved it into place. And then I found that building is actually really useful because it's a big office, so a lot of people actually come there to work. And then I think that's like a little shopping center or a shopping mall or something, whatever it is. It's a commercial building anyway, and actually, a lot of these things thankfully fit in really, really nice and actually look really good. I had a lot of fun doing this though. Anyway, first, we're finally getting some actual real zoning in there. You saw I just put some commercial zoning for once. So now this bridge down the bottom, which we're connecting up to now, like I said, is actually not really a main entry point to the city. So we don't need to be too concerned about the traffic flow from it. Even still, I did actually do the same thing I've been doing, is I've split it up into two one-way roads rather than having it as one road, and sort of split out the traffic a little bit from there. And I think it'll be okay, and it should work just fine. It just means that on the road further up, the intersections are going to be a little bit more spread out rather than all being shoved into one four-way intersection. Though at the end of this build, the traffic does start getting a little bit more beefy. I'm thinking that the traffic should be manageable later on. We might have to make some changes to some of the roads, but mostly for this highway connection, I don't know that it's going to be the best, because at the moment the highway connection, the way it works is because everyone is exiting the highway and turning left. There's no one going right, so it looks like there's a lot more traffic going that way than there should be. I don't know how I feel about it really, but I guess we'll have to see how it goes later on. And I'm trying to provide other connections so that the cars can go straight along instead of all having to turn left. I'm trying to do multiple routes. Basically, we need multiple routes to get to everywhere rather than having all traffic go one way. If you shove everyone onto one road, it's just going to be a bit of a nightmare, which is something that I was trying to be conscious of as we were building this. There's a lot of, as we're working through this, there's a lot of sections where there's basically one-way traffic can get somewhere at the moment before we built the road network. And that's why I was always kind of hesitant to start building this downtown area, because doing the road network is quite important. We have to get it right. Otherwise, it's literally going to come to a standstill and not be any good at all. We also have to consider where we want to do, and if we want to do, what we do, where we want to do a stadium. I don't think it'll be, I don't know if it'll be in this downtown area, or maybe we'll put it somewhere a little further away. But yeah, anyway, so over here, now we're on the other side of this bridge where we're doing some highway connections. And I said I was going to talk about some stuff. Oh yeah, I wanted to do the cargo harbor, I think, over here, because it's a very deserty, desolate place. The rest of the island further up, where it's that sort of not peninsula, just the island that's got all the trees over it, just opposite the downtown area. We can make that a really nice residential or commercial or tourism area. But this section here is just a desert. I think this is a really good industrial, factory, cargo harbor, shipping area. Because it's pretty dirty. Like, not dirty, but it's pretty, like, it's just a desert. So I think this could be a good place to get a cargo harbor somewhere nearby the city, and also a cargo train station. If that's the case, we have to figure out where the train line goes. Probably just around the city. So if we follow the highway, that might be a good way to do the train line. But yeah, so I thought over here would be a good idea. So let me know what your thoughts on that are. So I'm just trying to connect up the highway in a way that makes sense. So what I'm doing is we've got this 6-lane road. Then when we go to the highway connection, I'm actually removing 2 of the lanes. So I'm making that sort of main road smaller to a 4-lane road. So 2 lanes go directly to the highway. And then later on, when we continue it also gets it becomes smaller as it goes to the highway, because I think a lot of the traffic coming up this way will be highway-based traffic more so than lots of people commuting, So unless this becomes a huge industrial area, so you can see there I've turned that into 2 smaller roads as well, because it's basically at the moment just connecting to the highway. But I think if we start turning this into a busy industrial area, we might have to come up with a better solution. But for now, like I said, a lot of this stuff is working just fine. As the capacity increases, that's going to be something we're going to have to consider, I think. But all good in the hood for now. Also got to figure out where that train line's going, because we've got this bridge. It's going nowhere at the moment. I'm not exactly sure what I'm doing with it, but it's bridging over, so we can figure out what we want to do a little bit later on, which is good. So just setting up those little highway connections there and a bunch of these lanes, and that should just work fine. Now I've downloaded that's a new fire station. I believe that's the New York one. And I'm trying to get a police station, but that police station has RICO settings, that sort of FBI building, so it doesn't count as a police station, which is annoying. So I actually just put one over here, because I realized we didn't have any services for the downtown area. We also didn't have any services that matched like a heavy or like a high density downtown area. All of them seemed really quite small. I thought I downloaded a hospital, but it wasn't in my game, so I just put a regular one there, which I actually think ended up fitting in just fine with all the stuff we'd done around it. Now this area I thought was a really cool place to put like a community swimming pool. I thought it actually fit in really well, because you often see that, like a swimming pool right next to water. So I thought that was a really fun place to put it, because this is almost like this area is there's a few offices around, but it's quite residential and quite commercial. So I thought having this sort of community pool there as well would be quite good. And just behind the pool, I actually do a large residential area. We do a lot of zoning in just a moment's time too, to sort of fill out the space just behind it. So I think we're doing it now. This whole area becomes residential, I believe, or maybe, I don't know. You know what? I don't know. Let's find out. Oh, yep. It's residential. So a lot of residential around here. So they can all use that community pool right by the train station. I thought it's starting to really take shape, and I really like the look of this place. It's pretty awesome. So this railway is just continuing on. I'm just putting it in before we forget about it, because we need it and we don't want it to get in the way of stuff later. So that's going through there. That's going to, eventually, like I said, connect up to our other railway line. Getting some more residential zoning in here, making sure to get those pathways in so the pedestrians can get around. Also, I thought I'd just do like a community park area here, just a basketball court, a couple of tennis courts, and then all those buildings are just filling in. And we got this weird awkward space here, which I was going to see if I could get a building in there, but I was like, realistically, there's no way I'm ever going to get a building in this place. So I thought I'd just use this sort of, what do you call it, more beautification, and add some props down. Make almost like a little, not a park, but I guess a plaza. So I put a little statue there, a bunch of benches, and some nice trees just along that section there, just to make it look like a nice place. It's been designed to exist there. And actually, again, I'm saying actually a lot, and also things look really good a lot, but I think it really, really does. And that restaurant pier, I've just snuck in there underneath the railway, and I thought a nice pathway along here in front of the pool would look pretty awesome. Almost looks like some sort of boardwalk just heading along the front there. But we're pretty much done with the time lapse here, so we're going to jump into the real time just so we can have a look at everything a little closer, because obviously we've been time lapsing. It's all going by quite fast. We'll jump in the game and see what we've got now. Here is everything in the game as it appears. I think this whole, like this view right here is my favorite, I think, in the whole city, right? Or at least right now. It is my favorite view. It looks really, really, look at this. You can't tell me that doesn't look cool. I hope I've impressed you. Because if you're upset, ignore those power lines. Guys, don't look at that. Don't look at that. If you're not happy with this, then I'm sorry, but you're wrong. I mean, I might have made some mistakes here and there, so do let me know if there's anything I should change. But I think this whole place is really, really come together. So we've got this main station right here. I think all the railway going here. Got this one sneaking underneath. Got this pedestrian path coming along here just over it. It all fits in so well. Goes just under there. Have the other three... Oh, God, the building in the way there. Sorry. The other three railways sneak down underneath there. I think we could probably get in maybe some trees and stuff around here just to give it a little bit of extra detail. We do have the... Sorry. The stupid camera, all the buildings. We do have this other pathway that does actually sneak down underneath this bridge here, which I think is tall enough for people to get under. Yeah, it's really hard for us to see. I need to get like a proper first-person camera mod. It's hard for us to see, but it does fit people. Oh my God. It does fit people underneath. So that goes underneath, connects over that side, which is really, really handy. And then this pathway does continue around there, through to this section, has that bridge over this intersection, because there's no easy way to do a crosswalk through here, so we have that bridge that connects up all that section there too, which is really, really, really handy. I think we might need to do, well, if the camera could stop doing that, because we have a pathway here which is hidden. Also, I need to get a building in there. I didn't really have any buildings to fit that section. I think we need to have a pathway that comes down from here to connect to this section, because currently if you're crossing over here to get down to here, because you can't, there's no pathway there, that's technically a highway road. You have to go all the way across and come around, which is not exactly convenient. But anyway, so along the front hand side, along the front of this main road here, we've got all these buildings. We've got a parking garage just there. That's the main station there. And that's our little one-way lane that I was talking about in the time-lapse. That sort of goes down behind the railway station. That connects all of this through. Got that pathway just there as well. A little plaza down the bottom here as well, so you can see it in a little bit of better detail. A lot of people do walk up and down this road because it's a lot of people work in this building, I believe. 68 workers. They come to the station, they get on there. A lot of people using this train station, which is really, really cool to see. We have, I had to upgrade this train line because this is the underground train line that goes here to here and then expresses all the way over to, oh, not there, over to Old Sedona. I guess New Sedona, because this is New Sedona City. That's Old Sedona. We do need to have some other connections though, absolutely, because I think I might get rid of this connection that we were going to add. I do like the look of it, but it's probably a bit much. I think we'll get rid of that and probably just try and beef up some of our above ground transportation, maybe more buses, and I don't know about trams. I don't think I really want trams running into the city. I think that I want that to be more of an Old Sedona thing, and then the new downtown doesn't have that, but it does have buses maybe. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. We might use trams. I mean, the good news is we can very easily upgrade a lot of these roads to have trams. Like, it's not a hard thing to do if we decide we want it, which is good. But yeah, I think that's kind of it. All the little secrets and hidden places. I really, really like it. I really like it. I hope you guys do too. And then, yeah, so over here, I think, like I was saying in the time-lapse, this could be a really good industrial space just there. And, oh yeah, so the rail, so if we're going to have a cargo rail over here, like I was saying, I think we'll probably bring, because actually, where's our cargo rail? We have it here. We can definitely tunnel the cargo rail here. Go straight underneath. We won't be able to have a bypass, though, is the only problem, if we want to bypass that station. Although we might, if we branched off here, we might be able to sneak a tunnel in here. We might be able to do some wizardry and sneak a tunnel branch off. Anyway, so we might be able to pull away from that and bring it over. Maybe exit a tunnel here and do like a bridge or something and have it over there. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. But let me know what you think of the new downtown area. Please ignore the issue of too few services everywhere. Because I think, yeah, we skipped a lot of stuff. We don't have any schools here yet. I did download a bunch of new schools as well. The classic, like, urban elementary school, which actually I might place in. Because I think it'll look really good right here next to this railway. Might actually just even inch it a little bit closer, because it's like a nice flat-sided building right next to the railway. I think that's really, really nice there. And then, while we're at it, actually, speaking of which, what do we... Oh, let's get some water over here. What do we need in terms of... Oh, that was supposed to be straight. What do we need in terms of school? Oh, that's actually okay. High school, we definitely need more. So I downloaded a bunch of high schools, I think. I got... What's this one? Classic high school. I need to have a look at these. I'm not sure what these look like yet. Let me just pause. Classic high school. Because I was trying to find a good downtown high school. Community high school. Oh, this could be a good downtown one. Because it's quite big. The thing is, they're just not that tall. I really wanted taller high schools rather than just larger. That's just quite large. They're just big. Which is good for a more suburban thing. Oh, this is pretty small. How many students is that, though? 600. Not a lot. It's probably a good... That's probably a good urban one. A very modern one as well. Wasn't sure if I'd like that. So that's those ones. And I think I had another one somewhere, too. A library. Student capacity. Is this like a university? I can't tell. It's got 3,000 students. It just says library. I think it must be a university, surely. Classic high school. I feel like I had another one. I don't know. Maybe. Anyway, I think this may be the one just because it's a bit smaller than the other ones. Classic high school, 1,000. Wait, how much does the regular one hold? 1,000. So it's the same size. So I think... Oh, maybe... Wait, what about this one? There's only 600 students. It's less students, but it's quite nice. Don't know where we'd put it there. Maybe down this way by the pool. Could be quite good. I was going to put it here, but then I think it's because the cliff is a little much. Maybe... See, I do want to put it just around here somewhere. We also need to figure out how to utilize the other space on the side of that, so I don't want to block off anything there. Maybe we do use this one, at least for now. Because it's also... The good thing is it's also near the train station, kind of. Like, they can get to it. Or maybe we do it... I don't want to do it on a main road. It seems a little silly. Let's just put it here for now. I'll probably move it, or maybe I won't. I don't know. We'll just put it there for now so it sort of services this area. Hopefully it makes these people feel a little bit better about their too few services and all that. So we got the schools. I think parks are okay through here. We got the schools and all that. We have the police and fire department. We have the hospital. These guys, yeah, like I said, these guys over here are super... The noise level here is insane. Because if we have a look at our graph... There should be no residential in like this section here. There's some here, I think, but it's not too bad. This is ridiculous. They're right by the ferry terminal, which I think makes a lot of sound, and the train station. It's just not designed for residential. I think I'll have to change that. But anyway, that's it. Thanks for watching, guys. Leave your comments, suggestions, and feedback down below. But I am really, really happy with this. My favorite view right there. It's beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Oh, yeah. I need to adjust that just over there if you saw that coming in. On the way out, it's fine. I think it's hitting one of these poles here. But yeah, anyway. Let's just put that back there for the outro. Yeah, so I'm really happy with this. I hope you guys are too, because I really like the way this is going. It almost has kind of... I don't know. It's maybe... I'm hesitant to describe this as any type of city because people will be like, actually, no, it doesn't look like that. But it kind of reminds me personally of, because when I went to Seattle, it was very, had a lot of verticality to it because it was very hilly. So that's what I kind of get the feeling here because we've got this lower section, the upper section. Also kind of reminds me of New York and Manhattan because of the bridges sort of coming out of it. Granted, we're in the desert, so ignore that. I'm just like looking at this section here. But thanks for watching, guys. I just really love watching this. So I'm keeping the video going because I like it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time, and have an awesome day.